Okay, so today we're going to be talking about moving from our standard form to our slope-intercept form. Now we already know that our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. We've been working with that quite a bit the past few weeks. However, we also have another form that equations will be in. It's called our standard form, and it is in the form ax plus by equals c. Okay, now before you get overwhelmed by this, I want you to take a moment and look. We have an x and a y variable in both slope, intercept, and standard form. So our goal is that we want to get this y all by itself, like how it is in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to show you a few examples. They are all set up in standard form, and we're going to work them into slope-intercept form. So our first example is 3x plus 4y equals 8. Okay, I'm just going to solve for my y variable. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract my x variable. I want to move it over to this side. So now I'm left with 4y equals negative 3x plus 8. Okay. Now I want to completely isolate this variable, so I'm going to divide by 4 for all terms. Okay, so now I have y equals negative 3/4 x plus 8 divided by 4 can be simplified down to 2. Ta-da! There we go, not so hard. Let's work through another example just to get the hang of it. Here we have 9x plus 5y is equal to 35. I'm going to draw my line just so that I remember what I do to one side, I have to also do to the other. Now remember, I'm isolating this y, so I want to move everything that is not that y over to the other side. I'm going to start by subtracting 9x from each side. So now I'm left with 5y equals negative 9x plus 35. Okay, now I want to, remember, completely isolate this variable. So now I'm going to divide by anything attached to it, which happens to be a 5. What I do to one side, I also have to do to the other. I can write this as the whole thing over 5, but I really want to simplify everything and make sure it's in my simplest form. So I'm going to separately divide each term by 5. So now I have y equals negative 9/5 x plus 35 divided by 5 can simplify down to 7. Okay, let's go ahead and do one more example. So this time I'm going to subtract my 3x from each side. I'm always going to move my x term over because I want to try to get y all by itself. Now if you remember, there's like a little tiny invisible 1 right in front of our y. So in order to get rid of that negative, or that negative 1, I'm going to divide by negative 1. Now what I do to one side, I also have to do to the other. I'm going to divide each term by negative 1. So now I'm left with a positive y equals negative 3 divided by negative 1 is a positive 3x, and positive 3 divided by negative 1 is a negative 3.